is knowing when to walk away. Man, walking away from anyone is never easy. It's something that we often avoid, it's something we're unsure of. It's not knowing if I should walk away or when I should walk away. Now, this journey, your journey in finding yourself, the journey in growing closer with Christ, it comes with a price. And if you were like myself, who was heavily in the world, a lot of my foundations and relationships and friendships was built solely in the world. And unfortunately, as my desire to grow within Christ increased, my desire to entertain these relationships decreased. Now, as many of you know or may not know, Christ was surrounded by thieves, blasphemers, liars. He was essentially surrounded by these people, but still he encouraged and he uplifted and he taught. Still, he forgave all those who wanted to forgiveness. And ultimately, having characteristics like that taught me a lot about myself and how I wanted to be more like Christ in those ways when it came to my relationships with the people that I was surrounded by. Ultimately, I know that it's not in my place to judge anyone, and my journey and my walk with Christ is mine alone. But unfortunately, when you have these relationships or these friendships that were built in the world, it can kind of hinder you in a way and hinder your spiritual strength. Now, this isn't to say immediately, the closer I get with Christ, I'm just going to cut off all of my non religious friends and all of my friends who don't have a relationship with Christ. I'm just going to cut them off. This video is solely purposeful for you and your walk and your journey and doing what's best for you. I don't want anything that I say to deter you from just cutting off relationships from people that you've grown close to or you're essentially your family and friends. That's not my intent. My intent is just to encourage you and to offer some insights based off of personal experiences about having these relationships as my walk with Christ began to grow and increase. Now, like I said, there's nothing wrong with having these relationships or friendships. But me personally, I've noticed the more in depth I've become with engrossing myself within Christ, spending time with Him, learning about Him, wanting to move like Christ, where it started opening my eyes to actually seeing how people actually were, how they cared about me, their actions towards me, and it just wasn't aligning. I felt like for a majority of my life, as I entered into the world, that I was just people pleasing and I was just trying to please all the people around me in my life because essentially anyone that I love, I want to give, most of myself to them because I love them. And essentially I thought that it was reciprocated. But the closer I got with Christ and the more desire that I've spent with Him, the more time that I've spent with Him, the more love that I felt from Him, it made me question those relationships. It's like, why am I begging these people that love me to text me, to call me, to spend time with me? Why am I having to beg you? Why am I have to constantly being the one or the only one to be the peacemaker, being the only one to keep conversation? If I'm not texting you, if I'm not calling you, then there's no conversation. And this was with family. This was also with friends. And it started hindering me and it started making me think like, maybe I don't mean as much to them as they mean to me. And essentially, I feel like I'm idolizing these relationships because it's like I'm giving so much of myself to them and the energy isn't reciprocated. The love isn't reciprocated. And it should not be this way. So I did a lot of soul searching within myself. I've prayed a lot and essentially, one after one, started dropping like flies. And it wasn't necessarily that they were doing things in particular to hurt me, but it was like God was opening my eyes and my heart to actually see how these people operated who, claimed to have love for me or valued friendships and relationships with me. And as I started to see, I'm literally seeing for myself and firsthand, like, this is what I was enduring all of this time. Like, I was just accepting this. Like, no. So essentially, it started with family members, and then it trickled down to friendships. It was like the friends that I made in the world are still heavily in the world. And I was like, I can still be around my friends and just not do the things that they do, and hoping that I could be a seed and, you know, plant a seed, and they could essentially maybe later down the line grow from it. But I was noticing the deeper I got within myself and within Christ, those spirits attached to them was affecting me, and it started hindering me. And then once I realized that, I had to sever ties. And it wasn't I believe that I'm more righteous and I'm more up here and you're down here. It wasn't that. It was strictly because of the things attached to them affecting me spiritually. Some of my friends had monitoring spirits attached to them. And the closer I got with God, He revealed those things to me. Now, they didn't know that they had monitoring spirits connected to them. But once God revealed to me that these people had monitoring spirits, severed ties. I thought at first, I could still be around them. I could still have ties with them. We could still be friends, but I'll just keep them at a bay, or like I will pick and choose what information or not feed them anything about me in my personal life. Why would I want a friendship like that, where I gotta tiptoe around and decide what I can and can't tell them or what I can and can't show them? It serves no point. I don't want to be friends with someone who watches me 24/7 but never has anything nice to say, is talking bad about me. And when I say God will show you, He showed me. And it was conversations being had that I had no aware or knowledge of until God revealed that to me. It was hate speech, it was word curses, all those things that I didn't know was going on. He revealed to me what they were going on behind my back. And that hinders you spiritually, because as much work as you do spiritually, just being in the wrong environment can hinder all of that. All of it can come crashing and burning. And this ties into with family. People think that the family that you come from is so important. And like myself, I value, family, spending time with family, growing with family, loving family. Like, I value, that was something that I valued so heavily. But it got to a point where I started to realize that what's really important for me, family wise, is the family that I create, not necessarily the family that I came from. There's still a level of respect there. But again, I'm hindering myself being around you just because you're my family, when you guys are heavily under negative influence. You're heavily misled, and those spirits attached to you from being so heavily in the world is affecting me. And I shouldn't have to keep trying to mold and configure which way to move around you in order to be around you. If I feel like your darkness is dimming my light, then I can't be around you. I was at a point where I felt like, maybe I could be with them and just be cordial and not participate in the things that they participated in, and just keep my space when it comes to certain things. But I was under more spiritual attack doing that than I was when I completely severed ties. And now that this is leading me into my season, another season of isolation, I'm spending and I'm giving most of that time that I gave to them to God. And we're creating and we're bonding. I do have my setbacks sometimes, but it pushes me to want to give more and be more for Christ. And within that in itself, I know that in the right time, God will bless me and surround me with community. But right now, my sole focus is maintaining our relationship, because our relationship with each other surpasses any and every relationship here in the world. So, feeling uneasy about not knowing whether you should or shouldn't let go certain people, friends, family, whoever, acquaintances, do whatever your spirit tells you to do. Do whatever your heart tells you to do. And I wouldn't more so lean on your heart. I would lean on your spirit. I would pray. I would fast. And I will ask God, God, if these people, am I meant to be the seed in their life? And eventually you concede later down the line, if it'll be beneficial for me to, continue to be friends with them, continue to have this relationship with them, so that in hopes, that maybe they can see how you worked in me and want that for themselves, or even maybe just be okay with being cordial or having that godly friend, but also respecting boundaries, and know that if you're going to be friends with me, then respect me. Don't curse in front of me. Don't curse at me. Don't speak negative about me behind my back. Don't invite me to places that you know that is against what I believe. So if I can solely have these relationships within those boundaries and that respect, then God, please reveal it to me, show it to me, and then, I won't cut ties. But ultimately, just keep praying to God and keep asking Him, like, should I stay or should I go? I've cried for some of the people that I really valued having relationships and friendships with, because for the length of period of time that we've been friends, and I had my little moment, my 5 minutes, and then I felt like God was like, that's enough. Don't ever disrupt your peace and your comfort to make someone else happy. Don't ever feel like you have to dim your light in order to be cordial or be in a relationship or have a relationship with anyone. Ultimately, we serve one God and we follow one Christ. Okay? So follow your spirit, follow Christ, allow God to reveal who you should and shouldn't essentially be around, and use discernment. But without further ado, that's the end of this video, guys. I love you. Stay blessed, and I will see you in another one. Bye. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe.